Hey guys, John here. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is a little bit of an update on all the green tree pythons, and as of the last, I think 4 or 5 months since I've made a video, absolutely heaps has changed. For you guys that haven't followed me previously, I had 3 green tree pythons. Now that collection has grown to 5, only addition of an extra 2 more. I've since upgraded all of my green tree pythons into their sub-adult enclosures, which you're looking at right now, as opposed to them being in tubs, which they were currently. Now, a couple of the few things that have changed, not only have I added more, moved them up, they're all green now, at least the ones that you've previously seen if you've followed me in the past. And it does seem to be, I haven't probe sexed them yet, but I'm definitely getting a more clearer indication as to what sex they are, which I'll discuss a little bit later in the video. Now, the main focus on today's video is on the bioactive enclosures and how they're going with housing the green tree pythons in. I see a lot of people these days on YouTube and personal friends that have made bioactive enclosures for their animals, and they unfortunately fail miserably due to the fact of them rushing into it and not letting the tank and animals establish before moving them in. Now, as you can see, the green tree pythons, you can only see 2, but there's actually a bit of a hidden one in this far right-hand corner tank down at the back, which I'll show you once I take the phone off the tripod. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is establishing your tanks. These tanks were established for, excuse me, a little bit over a year before I added the green tree pythons. Now, that's probably a bit excessive, but I did end up making these enclosures before I even got the green tree pythons, and I let them establish for, like I said, about a year before I moved them in. Now, that not only let plants establish and the isopod and springtail cultures grow in the soil, but it also allowed me to monitor temperature, humidity, and make sure that everything was going to be ideal. Setting up a tank and adding the heat source and humidity source, although on paper it may work and look really good, but in practicality it just doesn't work out. So giving that yourself a time, whether it be 3, 4, 5, 6 months to let things establish, and monitoring temperature, humidity will give you a much better idea as to the long-term effects of the animals going in there. Now, I'll take the phone off the tripod and give you a bit of an update on the actual animals themselves. Like I said, they're actually all green now. One of them is in shed, which is that one in the top left-hand corner. And I do believe, in terms of sexing, that they're actually all female. So I will talk about cohabitation in another video, as I do have 2 green tree pythons, which are juveniles, both girls, that are in an enclosure together, and they're actually doing really well. Have so for the past, say, 4 or 5 months now. So it is something that I am monitoring pretty closely, but they will be upgraded to their adult enclosures within the next year, and then they will be separated again. So let's take the phone off and take a bit of a closer look at the green trees. So as you can see, I've got 3 tanks here. I've got one for the frogs, that's another video in itself, I've discussed them previously, and then 2 tanks for the green tree pythons. I also have my neonate tubs and also a big adult green tree python, which I'm yet to set up in an enclosure yet, which I will discuss in another video of the whole collection. So we'll talk about this one right here. This one here is quite a nice one, bred by a pretty notorious breeder within Australia called Russell Grant. And this, like I said, they all seem to be females, but I'm yet to probe them, which will happen within the next few months, as they are quite a good size now. It is a bit of a shame that this one isn't shed, because it is a very unusual green comparative to the rest, but nevertheless you can still see it's really good color. Now we scooch over to this enclosure. Now this one does house the 2 green tree pythons. Now I've got one here, once again another Russell Grant production, which you can see, if I can show you the head, absolutely lovely, although they're a bit sooky at the moment. You can see his head down there, and if you look closely at the back here, you can see there's the other one. Now It's a little bit unusual to see a green tree python on the floor and on the back, but funnily enough, from day one, that was this one's spot in the enclosure. Absolutely loves it out there. Every night, it actually comes out and basks, and they actually swap spots. So this one goes onto the top, and then the one in the bottom actually moves to the middle of the basking spot. So it does a lot of its basking at night, since these heat globes, which are ceramic heat emitters, run 24/7. So today's video, not necessarily a very informative or instructional video, but it was just a bit of an update on some of the green tree pythons and how I've actually moved them across. I just wanted to talk about, like I said, the establishing those enclosures before you put them in. And if we take a look at the plants in here, they're going absolutely nuts. So all thriving, doing really well. Of course, you'll get some die off here and there, but you can see it's very lush, especially in here. Very lush, growing really well, almost at the top, and they're very self-sustaining. I'm a pretty big advocate of bioactive, although they are a little bit of work, and in hindsight, if you're after a bit of a display, the bioactive is really great. The frog tank's looking absolutely fabulous. But if you're after a simpler look, and after a simpler, I guess, ease of maintenance, your PVC, or even you can put your glass enclosures, although not the best, will work really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little short update video of some of the green tree pythons. I'll be making a few other updates on the two I have in there, and we can discuss a little bit about what I have going on for future plans and what's going to happen within the next 6 months. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoy.